defensively, offensively, knowing how to move in space well without the ball. I can go on and on with things I'll be able to teach those guys, but for the most part, I want to do it with film. Consistent habits, continue to work on those daily, and continue to try to go to the bigger picture. Understand we have one common goal, and we got to all make sacrifices to get to that goal.
Hey, Rajon, LeBron was talking about years ago playing against you, and just you both see the game a certain way. He said there's only so many guys that can think it like that, and he wondered what it would be like to have a teammate that could be on that same page. And I know it's just been a couple of scrimmages, but how do you think that could play out? What kind of advantages could you guys get from that?
I'm excited about that opportunity to play with a guy that is on that level of excitement and understand how to break down the game physically and mentally in a quick second. So LeBron is one of the greatest IQ players that we've ever seen in this game today, and being on the floor with him, I'm sure, is going to make everyone else, even myself, job a lot easier. And that's what I'm here to do as well, is make his job a lot easier. Make the young guys understand what we need to do as a team to win games.
Hey, Rajon, I want to ask you a quick question. I saw some family here with you today while kind of walking around, and kids always keep it very honest with you. What do they think about you being a Laker now and playing with LeBron?
Well, my kids were too young. My daughter was just born when I won the championship in Boston. So other than that, they haven't seen me in the green uniform. So a couple guys here that was on the Lakers staff said something to me earlier as far as they're not used to me in this color. So I'm not either, but I'll get comfortable in the next couple of days.
LeBron was talking a little bit about how cerebral of a player you are, and how that's one reason that he's always wondered what it would be like to play with you because of how you see the game. I'm wondering, what have the conversations that you guys have had about basketball been like just in the gym so far? Has it been fun to sort of talk on the same level with someone? It
is. We haven't really gotten too much in detail. We obviously want to focus on the main factors on what it's going to take for these young guys to catch up with us and understand what it takes to win. So just being great leaders. Obviously, communication is very important between both of us, and obviously passing it down to the young guys. So, like I said, no disrespect, no knock to any of my teammates in the past, but Kevin Garnett was probably my favorite teammate as far as communication-wise. The first thing I noticed about Kevin, the first day we played pickup, 2007. Yeah, it was crazy how loud he was talking on the floor. So I'm excited to get back to that moment to where someone behind me is talking defense, talking to me where I need to be on the floor, pick coming left, flare right. So with that being, having a safety or a linebacker behind you dictating and telling you everywhere to go, it's going to make my job and everyone else's job a lot easier.
Hey, Rajon, right over to your left.
My left?
Yeah. Just obviously being such a pure point guard, watching Lonzo ball, just some things that maybe you like about his game that you've seen in his rookie season.
The intangibles, he obviously can do it all, but I love that he's a very unselfish player, and people don't really understand that the ball gives you energy, and if you're a point guard that shoots 28 times a game or you're dominating the ball every time down the court, if the guys running the lane 3 or 4 times haven't touched the ball in a while, the body language can start to drop, and now defensively they're not giving you the energy that you need. So watching the young guy at that age, particularly I think he's 19 or 20 years old, being able to share the ball and he's not about himself is very refreshing to understand that there are still point guards that are coming up that want to play the game the right way.
Yeah, do you see part of your role as mentoring Lonzo?
Yeah, yeah, that's obvious. My rookie and sophomore year, I had Sam Cassell come in, I had Steph Marbury come in, Eddie House, and I didn't look at those guys as competition. It was more so Sam had won 2 championships in Houston, so I was looking at him as a mentor to help me. So everything in life kind of happens for a reason. And me being in a situation now, year 13, is what I'm here to do, is help young guys grow as much as possible and make the game easy for those guys.
Southern California News Group, Rondo over here. To your Magic told us that you had a film session with Lonzo where you guys talked out a lot of your past games. What did you get from that session, and have you had any other film sessions with other new teammates?
I learned that Lonzo was really quiet. He didn't say much at film session, and that, as a rookie or a second-year player, you obviously want to sit and observe. And when Magic was talking, I was quiet as possible right now, my notes. So, like I said, it's going to take time to develop the chemistry and the relationships, but it's a process. We've already started it. I've watched film with Kuz as well, and he actually reached out to me, a couple of days, and we're trying to get our schedules together. But we finally were able to sit down and watch about 45 minutes of defensive clips And it's a quick story. The one thing that already jumped out and noticed about me about Kuz is that we had a film session that day in particular. We came down, we played pickup, and that night, this kind of reminded me of myself. And that night, Kuz sent me a text message of him watching film of us playing pickup, and he was like, "Is this what you meant?" What I told him upstairs in film. So this step right there already was like, he's on my good side, and it shows, where he wants to be and grow as a player. So I'm very excited to work with young guys that's that hungry. I don't know how many second-year players I watch him pick up film and critiquing himself, 3 months, or not 3 months, but 2 months before the season starts. So I think we have a lot of room to improve, and I'm looking forward to working with these young guys.
Rondo right here. Last year, the Lakers on several occasions outplayed what the box score would indicate. With that said, what intrigued you about coming here? Because I know there were a lot of people that wanted you to play for them. So what intrigued you about the young roster, and what stood out to you?
Well, it kind of reminded me of my team in Boston. I don't want to go back to that. We lost 18 straight my rookie year. But the thing about it is we were in a lot of those games. And with young teams, it separates the good teams and great teams is to be able to close game situations. And now you have a guy like, LeBron James, myself, able to help these guys understand how to finish games and what's important, coming out of timeouts, how to execute. So many little things that this team can take so many more steps ahead to finish those games and obviously flip the record. And we want to continue to be a better team this year. So just closing games, those guys, obviously they outplay a lot of teams in the box scores, but, 2 or 3 minutes, it may be a lull where they don't get a stop or they don't make or get the right shots, turnover, little things that add to losses versus wins.
Rajon, to your left, obviously asking even right now a lot of questions about basketball IQ and things like that. How much of those things are intuitive, and to what degree can those things be taught and demonstrated to other players?
I'm very blessed. I see it in my kids, how they, my son, he watched film with me since he was like 3 years old, and he just wants to learn. He's a sponge of me, obviously, but my coach Doug Bibby, I have to give him a lot of credit. We started watching film, we broke it down in high school, and as a high school player, it's ugly to see your mistakes, even as a pro. And when you're a high school player, you think you know it all, but when coach pulls out the film, he slows it down, and you understand that the film doesn't lie, and continue to grow and be a player, and you got to be honest with yourself. So,
Rajon, to your right, Chris Mannix with Yahoo. You've been a high-level starter since your rookie year, and you did an incredible job last year in the playoffs with the Pelicans. How important is starting to you with this team?
Whatever role coach gives me, whatever role this team wants me to play, I'll play it. Whether it's starting 15 games, getting benched for 8, I've been through it all my career. I've been through Sacramento, Chicago, Dallas, so I'm ready for anything. And everything, like I said, to this point in my career has probably put me in a situation where I can excel this year and continue to blossom and be a great mentor and a great basketball player the rest of my career.